Hello, it's Joanne McCarthy from the Newcastle Herald. The Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to Child Sexual Abuse has handed down its final report and recommendations after an exhaustive 5-year investigation of sexual abuse of children in institutions across the country over decades, and more than 4,000 institutions were investigated. We have some key findings already, 189 recommendations in a recommendations report. It appears to be more than 400 recommendations in total, including the establishment of a national child safety framework, oversight bodies in each states that will monitor and enforce institutions complying with these new child safety laws. We have specific recommendations for different churches. Obviously, there's a lot of interest in the Catholic Church because during the Commission hearings, we had many case studies into very, very serious child sexual abuse within the Catholic Church. Some of the key findings for the Catholic Church, the Royal Commission has really put it on the Australian Catholic Bishops' Conference to take these recommendations to the Holy See. So these recommendations are going to go to the Vatican. That priests no longer will have the final say in terms of the appointment of principals to Catholic schools or teachers. In the Hunter, we have had some very serious cases in the past of really problematic priests being directly involved with schools in a very not a good way for the children. That celibacy should be voluntary for priests from now on, as opposed to mandatory. That the seal of the confessional, the Royal Commission has recommended that states establish laws where from now on there's no exemption for clergy when children disclose child sexual abuse within the confessional. One of the most interesting recommendations from where I'm sitting that goes to the fundamentals of child sexual abuse within the Catholic Church is that the Australian Catholic bishops are going to be asked to recommend to the Holy See that canon law, which is church law, be changed so that from now on child sexual abuse is not referred to as a moral failing but is actually called a crime. While the Catholic Church continues to maintain that it is a moral failing as opposed to a crime, we're really not going to see the Catholic Church get to the fundamentals of the significance of what has occurred in the past. So that's a very significant recommendation. Within the Anglican Church, we have recommendation after there was a lot of trouble between different dioceses of the Anglican Church, as was apparent in a final hearing of the Anglican Church earlier this year, where different dioceses had different views about child protection, to the point where Justice Peter McClellan, the chair of the Commission, actually raised the issue of linking tax with tax concessions with churches actually following new child protection laws. Now, the Anglican Church of Australia has subsequently established a national framework, but the recommendations appear to be wanting more than that. Another interesting one with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, the Jehovah's Witnesses, a little bit under the radar in terms of its child protection approach, but from the recommendations, clearly the Royal Commission had serious concerns. The Church has what it calls a two-witness rule, where child sexual abuse is not regarded as established without these two witnesses. You only have to look at child sexual abuse. It is a ridiculous rule to be having on the books. Well, the Royal Commission has recommended that must go.
So we will never change our scriptural position on that subject.
It has also recommended that the practice, a Jehovah's Witness practice of shunning people who leave the church because of child sexual abuse must stop. There are many other recommendations. Clearly, it's only been public for about an hour. There is a lot of reading to do. I haven't even checked how many pages there are in the final report, but there were volumes that looked like it was more than a metre high. There were child sexual abuse survivors who were at Government House this morning, including some from the Hunter, when Justice McClellan arrived to speak to Governor-General and hand over the report to Governor-General Sir Peter Cosgrove. There was obviously a lot of satisfaction for those people, a sense of the momentous nature of the event, that this has finally come to fruition. What we now have, though, is there's going to be a period of time needed for everybody to digest the findings of the Royal Commission and the recommendations. But the real test is going to come next year when it reaches the level of politicians, because the Royal Commission has made recommendations. It is up to Parliament and the government actually to drive those changes into law. Now, yesterday at the final sitting, outside the final sitting of the Commission, Opposition Leader Bill Shorten made a commitment. He said that Australians will not tolerate any kind of mucking around from this point by either governments or institutions themselves. Earlier this week, the former Prime Minister Julia Gillard, who established the Royal Commission in November 2012, she also said that the public would not tolerate any inaction by governments. I did not see Malcolm Turnbull make any responses outside the Commission yesterday. He left fairly quickly after speaking to survivors. But it will be interesting to see how this plays out. But as Julia Gillard said earlier this week, the community is waiting and watching.